The lower rate outlook is providing the market with a bit of support because lower rates makes it cheaper for companies to borrow and grow. And while that helped the banking sector today, one in particular is outperforming its peers and the market. Shares in the Commonwealth Bank hit yet another record high today and is now 23% higher since the March low, despite a number of analysts calling the stock expensive. Now, CommBank is Australia's biggest listed company by far. Only a few years ago, there was a tussle for the number one position by those in the top three. But now the bank's Australian market capitalisation is around $100 billion larger than BHP. Some analysts tell me its sheer size may be attracting super funds.
They are the largest cap stock in Australia. So no matter what happens, if you want to go down to a basic fundamental, that 11.5% of super funds, if they just invest in a nice lazy index ETF or index funds, they've got to invest in the Commonwealth Bank.
The sector, though, is facing challenges amid a continued drive to cut costs and invest in new technology. There are reports Westpac may be cutting 1,500 jobs. It's a figure it's unable to confirm, but in a statement added that while it continues to invest in extra bankers and customer-facing roles, other programs and initiatives may need fewer resources. Bank shares rose across the board, with CommBank outperforming its peers today, the sector contributing to a 0.5% gain on the ASX 200, which means it's now just 2% away from its all-time high. While utility stocks rose, builder James Hardie fell following a warning about a weaker US renovations market. Main Pharma tumbled on fears its takeover by a US company may have hit a snag, and energy stocks did best, Woodside Energy up by 1.16%. A federal decision on its proposed extension of the North West Shelf project off the coast of WA is now imminent after previous delays.
My department has now finalised a brief to me with a recommendation that I'll be going through in the next few days. It's obviously a really complex project and a really complex decision.
Woodside's plan to extend the life of the gas facility beyond 2030 has already been approved by the state government. In commodities, oil rose up 1.35% on this time yesterday following reports of escalating tensions between Israel and Iran. Gold is back above $3,300 an ounce. The Australian dollar is a little bit above 64.5 US cents. It's also firmer against most of the other major global currencies, including the British pound. That's as UK inflation re-accelerated to 3.5% in the year to April, following increases in gas, electricity and water prices, reducing the chances of further interest rate cuts there. A gender-balanced management team in public sector workplaces is helping to address the gender pay gap. The government's Workplace Gender Equality Agency analysed nearly 120 employers in the federal public sector and found an average gender pay gap of 6.4%, which is better than the 21.1% recorded in the private sector. Still, the agency wants to see the gap narrow to plus or minus 5%. It means women working in the public sector earn on average 94 cents for every dollar earned by a man, and that's about $8,200 less per year.
Additional payments beyond the base salary are an important contributor to the gender pay gap, both at the public and the private sector levels. And obviously, many more men are getting access to those options for additional work and additional pay. So it is important to look at the barriers to that and make sure that both men and women have equal access to those opportunities.
Of some of the more well-known public companies, the Reserve Bank had a gap of 11.5%, while the Australian Bureau of Statistics had no gap. The gender pay gap at SBS is 1.9%. Tesla boss Elon Musk has recommitted to leading the electric vehicle company for at least the next 5 years. That is unless...
Die.
OK, short of that.
Have you see if I'm dead?
Speaking at the Qatar Economic Forum, Mr Musk addressed investor concerns following the first annual sales drop at Tesla in over a decade last year and amid mounting scrutiny over his political commitments. Tesla shares are still down around 28% from their peak, Janice, in mid-December.